What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I did actually want to talk about something here on Unbound that I've been noticing the past couple of days. The thing is, though, it's not actually a new thing because players have been experiencing it. And you probably already guessed that is going to be cars that you do end up extracting in the lockdown game mode, but they are not actually showing up in your inventory. So let me head over to the lockdown thing here, guys. I'll show you this here quick. Now, the big thing about it, though, is I've only been really noticing this actually the past couple of days. I do understand when the update did come out that players were experiencing this, but the weird part though is I currently have 59 vehicles extracted, and I believe I've only actually gotten 54 of them. The other 5 I have not gotten yet. And the unfortunate part about it though is I'm actually losing some of the cars I did end up wanting. One of which was actually going to be the P1 GTR. Really wanted to have a second one of those. I was going to sell it. The other car I lost was going to be the SVJ, which again I did want one of those. But you guys are going to notice here one of the cars I did end up getting was a Bugatti that was somebody else's car, which I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess, but I actually did end up wanting some of those cars, especially the SVJ. Like, that was actually one car I really did want in the game. Turns out, though, when I did extract one, I did not even get to keep it. And on top of that, though, I was also not able to keep multiple other vehicles as well. I actually think as of right now, I did end up losing the Bugatti that one time, which was unfortunate. But 2 days ago, it actually started. I did end up losing the P1 GTR, which kind of weirdly enough, guys, after the update did end up coming out is when I actually started having this issue. Do let me know in the comments below if you also have this issue currently after the update, or at least you're experiencing this after the update, or were you actually having it before it? I do know players were having issues getting their cars, like they'd get like a blacklist car and then like it wouldn't show up in their inventory, which by the way, I also lost one of those in the process of it. I actually think currently I lost the Bugatti, a P1 GTR, a P1. It is just really unfortunate, man. Also the SVJ. I just feel like a lot of players are going to want to do the extraction game mode, but the thing is though, if you're actually going in there and you're like me trying to grab cars you actually want, then you actually finally get them, you bring them in, you go into your garage, and it isn't there. Now you might be wondering, well Block, how do I know if I actually get the car in my inventory? The thing is, guys, after all the other 50 extractions I have done, every time I've grabbed a car, it always shows up in the loading screen, or at least when I spawn into it. Like, for example, let me go back into the menu here, let me back out. You guys see how I'm standing right here? I would actually spawn into the game with the Ford Raptor, which this is actually one of the cars I did end up stealing from somebody. At least I was able to keep this thing, even though I didn't want that. But hey, I was able to actually keep a vehicle, which is pretty dope. The thing is, though, if you actually get one of the cars out of the said thing, it is going to always spawn in just like this when you see me standing next to my vehicle. All the other matches I had, I'd actually extract something like, let's say the P1 GTR. I grab it, I get really excited, I load in, I look at my character standing next to the car, and guess what? It wasn't the P1, it was actually a random vehicle I already owned. So I was like, okay, well, let me go check my actual vehicle list, and boom, it wasn't even there. Oddly enough, though, that blacked out Bugatti I showed earlier, for some odd reason, that wasn't in the menu, at least when I loaded in, but I still had it. I really don't know. I feel like the entire thing's just kind of bugged out a bit. But as I mentioned before, though, after all the 50 plus cars I have extracted, I've always seen them when I loaded into the game, though. So I would say that's probably an indicator. But at the same time, guys, this is one of those bugs I feel like that need to be fixed legitimately like now and not yesterday. Because, like, a lot of players want to play the lovely extraction game mode. I'm loving it. But the thing is, though, if you can jump in, you can't even keep the cars you're actually stealing. Why are players going to actually jump into the game mode? Am I right? I mean, if you can't keep any of the cars, like for example, I've really wanted that P1 GTR. That thing was dope. I still haven't gotten the SVJ yet. I finally stole one. I got it. And what's also funny about the SVJ though is that was probably the best RNG I've ever had in a lockdown match. Not even kidding. I legitimately spawned into the game. I drove like 20 feet and there was the lockup. I ended up driving around a bit and guess what happened? I pretty much waited. 5 minutes went past, a motorcycle spawned legit next to me and right next to the lockup, man. Jumped in there, grabbed the SVJ, and I was like, yo, finally I got this car. Actually got to the truck once I was able to extract it, and guess what? Didn't even have the SVJ. One of the worst parts of this, I do think, as well as a lot of players are currently not getting the cars they're actually stealing, whether it's going to be Vergeras, Lambos, Bugattis, etc., even a lot of the blacklist vehicles if you actually did want them, because a lot of the blacklist cars are pretty dope. So if you actually want to steal them, you might want to max it out, customize it a bit. You steal it, you don't even get to keep it. One of my concerns, though, is I don't think we're actually going to get the cars back, though, man. Like, how can they actually get you the cars you did end up extracting, but you didn't get them in your inventory? The reason for that is so many players legitimately don't have the cars they did end up getting. That would mean every player would have to get like 3, 4, 5, 6 cars back. Like, I just don't know if I actually see that happening. But I would say right now, this is probably the worst extraction glitch going on. Like, I do understand there's the error code, at least the speed pass is finally fixed, which is great. But guys, this one right here seriously needs to be fixed insanely quick. And I do understand on top of this extraction bug going on, there is definitely other issues on top of it. We all do know the FO3 error that players are still getting when they try to get on the game. A lot of people can actually not even play the game because of that error code. I do know some players are getting error codes on top of that one. I'm not sure what the codes are on them. And on top of that, we're also getting like the occasional infinite loading screen, which surprisingly I haven't had that in a couple of days, which is good. But the biggest thing though is going to be the extraction bug, man. Like, a lot of players are going to want to jump in, grab cars, but if you can't even keep them, what is the point of actually doing the lockdown game mode and going after the vehicles? Funny thing is, I was actually having issues getting cars and all that, so I'm like, you know what? I did end up jumping in, guys, grabbing the motorcycle, and basically just riding around the map and grabbing money and stuff, and then basically leaving like that. I mean, I can't get the car, so might as well go farm a bunch of money in that aspect. At least that's one other thing you can do in there if you can't actually keep the vehicles, or it's like a rolling dice if you actually will. But again, do let me know if you're having this issue in the comments below. I would almost guarantee that probably everybody has probably seen this at least once at this point. But I am curious though, are you guys seeing this happening more after the previous update? It could just be me. I do understand I got over 50 cars and haven't had an issue, so I really can't complain or like get upset that much because it's a bit insane. And I'm probably like, okay, well, I got 50 cars having some issues now, I get it. But I also did not have any issues until after the update, so I'm like, I wonder if other people are also experiencing this. And for me though, I really do hope they actually get a patch out for this very soon because I'm really enjoying Lockdown. And I feel like a lot of players are actually going to play it more often knowing the cars they're actually extracting, they can actually keep them.